Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. So Arsenal have effectively been called cheaters, the masters of the dark arts for playing defensive football against Manchester City at the weekend. Jamie Carragher had this to say: there's one thing I do notice Arsenal doing more than anyone else. I don't know if the stats back me up, but I think the goalkeeper goes down a lot more than other goalkeepers in tense situations. He's talking about football, by the way. The rule is a goalkeeper can't go off, so that's definitely one that the coaching staff at Arsenal are more switched on about than anyone else. I see Raya go down in pressure situations. We're talking football. Scholes says cheating. That's what it's called, isn't it, Jamie? He says it is, but you said it, so you can have the headline, not me. Well, you know, I mean, I tell you what, I want to apologise to Man City fans, first of all, because I don't do that very often, but I am going to go in on Man City to defend Arsenal on this and what I see as propaganda, because I've seen this a few times over the last few days, talking about the dark arts of Arsenal against Manchester City. In fact, Manuel Akanji of Man City was asked about the dark arts of Arsenal and whether they've mastered them, and he says, yes, I don't think there are many better than them at it, but in the end we always won the title, and I don't think it's going to be very different this year. So Arsenal have simply just sort of like been turned into, 2010 Stoke. They've been sort of labelled as this anti-football, park the bus bunch of cheaters who will do everything they can to run the clock down, and I find it absolutely incredible. I mean, I'm sort of listening to it, and I'm seeing these clips from Carragher and the media and these Man City players, and I just want to say straight away, hold on a minute, are we literally going in on Arsenal as being cheats, masters of the dark arts, and boring park the bus merchants because they got a draw against Man City with 10 men for 45 minutes when they were winning 2-1 with 11? I mean, it was a very different game until the sending off, and it's propaganda. It's propaganda. I mean, I know Arsenal have been getting a bit of sympathy the last few days. Flip it round and it'd be the other way. But the reality is, we can't write false stories. We can't set false agendas, and they're very, very dangerous, because what it will do is it will be a red flag to the PGMOL to start booking Raya and, going after Arsenal even more. I mean, they've already had 2 sending offs this season for things that other clubs aren't getting done for, which is kicking the ball away. What are we going to do now? Get more Arsenal players sent off for time wasting a little bit? It's dark arts the other way round. This is Man City and Pep sort of trying to put pressure on Arsenal and get referees to start making them hurry up so that, the ball can be in play a little bit more so Man City can do what they're good at. It's absolutely ridiculous. And, I think about some of the pundits who are coming out, referencing potential cheating. And I'm like, you're really scraping the barrel here. Have you looked at the Premier League? 6 of the last 7 have been won by Man City. We've got a genuine contender and we're going to try and break their legs. What, so Man City can win another one? It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And also, let me just say, if we want to talk about masters of the dark arts, I mean, am I the only one singing in the darkness here about Man City and the master of the dark arts with them? I mean, this is a club that will take the early foul to stop a team breaking away. They very rarely get booked for it. And the biggest one for me is, who's the team that when anything happens in and around the box, they've almost got synchronised protests? I remember the Everton handball last year at Goodison, which for me was not a handball. You've got 4 players running towards the referee. You've got Bernardo Silva running to that corner, Phil Foden running to that corner, Edison running to that corner. It's like, make the biggest noise you can when there's anything contentious that could go in our favour. And the crowding of the referee just hasn't stopped. So, we're picking on Arsenal and saying, oh, David Raya went down a little bit too long there. It's the master of the dark arts. They're cheating. And yet, Man City in that game and in every bloody game, any time there is a foul or a potential foul or a potential penalty or a potential something goes against them, they crowd the referee like a pair of, warm socks on a cold day. Don't know about that one. But you know what I mean? They do. And which one's more important? Do we want to highlight the fact that respect for referees are meant to be happening and Man City haven't got any? Or do we want to highlight the fact that 10-man Arsenal, maybe, just maybe, I mean, in fact, sod it, did play for a little bit of time in that game? Because that's what you've got to do. I mean, go back to the video yesterday about the yellow card or the day before. My point is, Arsenal had to play 45 minutes at the Etihad with a 2-1 lead If they were losing 1-0, it would have been a bit different. I mean, I don't know how they would have done that, but they're 2-1 down. They're 2-1 up with 10 men against Man City at the Etihad. And oh my God, no shit, Sherlock. Slow sports news. Arsenal decide to play a little bit of time wasting. And suddenly, I mean, do you not just find that flabbergasting that they've actually spent the last 2-3 days talking about Arsenal being boring and time wasters simply because with 10 men, they parked the bus and played for time against Man City in one game. And they're trying to use last year as well. They did it there as well. But I think that, look, I think Arsenal can be more expansive against Man City. I've said it myself. But I don't think it's in any way, shape or form the headline. I mean, I've seen it on the BBC website. I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? And if we're going to start with Arsenal, can we at least start with clubs that fans get very frustrated with, who do get away with this sort of thing week in, week out? Look, if you want to start booking David Raya for going down and doing it a lot, then fine. But can we please start booking every Man City player who is not the captain of the football club, who swarms the referee all the time and starts running around with their hands in the air? Because there's no consistency with that either. And I would say, okay, Arsenal got a point at the Etihad. Did they get a point at the Etihad because they time wasted a little bit? Or did they get a point at the Etihad because they defended magnificently? Let's run a poll on that. I think 90% will say they defended magnificently. And can we get a poll on this? What advantage do Man City get for every game, 3 or 4 times a game, crowding the referee for every decision? Do they get those decisions? I think they do. How beneficial is that across a season when, and you know it's coming from the manager. So if we're going to have a pop at Arteta for telling his team to slow it down a bit, let's not have a pop at Pep, who clearly he is the master. He used to do it at Barcelona. He is the master at committing the early foul to stop the breakaway. And his teams always crowd the referee. And you know why? The same reason Arteta's probably telling his players to slow it down to eat up the clock is the same reason Pep Guardiola will tell his players to crowd the referee, because as we know, the refereeing in this country is abysmal. And if they can't get decisions right, they definitely can be manipulated into giving decisions your way by putting a bit of pressure on them. And it's worked countless times. So do me a favour in trying to put some sort of agenda onto Arsenal about them being time wasters when you're not going to talk about one of the biggest red flags in the Premier League, which is the amount of times Man City... And look, can I just put my hand up? There's a clip of Man United doing it many years ago. It works. It works. That's why Man City do it. You crowd the referee, you get a lot of decisions going your way. Man City are the masters of that. Should we talk about that? Because I think that's more beneficial to you getting points than it is to time wasting a little bit. But, they don't want to have that conversation. Get your comments in, smash a like on the video, make sure you subscribe. I'll speak to you on the next one.